Krishna Krishna. Hari Om, children. Now we are coming to the most magical portion of story time. After Bhagwan Narayan spoke to Yogmaya, and Yogmaya, with her divine powers, took away the baby from Devaki's womb, straight whoosh into Rohini's womb, Rohini's tummy. Kamsa got to hear that now Devaki was pregnant, and suddenly the child did not get born and disappeared. He didn't know what happened. He was wondering, what happened? What happened? How can it happen? But he did not know the science that God knows. But he was a little concerned. Everybody said that the seventh child died in Devaki's womb. But nobody knew that that seventh child had gone to Rohini's womb. Now the time had come for the eighth child of Devaki to be born, and to bless this earth with joy, laughter, happiness, and to protect the good and to remove the evil from this world. And everyone in Vaikuntha was ready. The whole universe was preparing itself for none other than the very Lord of the universe was going to come as a little child and fill the hearts of children first and foremost with joy, laughter, fun, and goodness. So, now is the time. Are you ready? Are you ready and you know who's coming? I think you know, right? Yes, it's Lord Narayana. But how is he going to come? Now, Devaki became pregnant. She was glowing with such beauty like no one had ever seen. Her skin was shining, her hair was glowing, her eyes had become big, beautiful. She was so full of love. She was looking so beautiful, but she used to cover herself in that jail with those cloths so that her shine wouldn't be seen. But the news reached Kamsa that Devaki is pregnant with the eighth child. Kamsa wondered. Seventh child was not born. Eighth child is being born. Oh, they must have rushed it up. No. Everybody was in a rush. But from that time, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat. And Narad Muni, who wants everybody to remember the Lord all the time, Narayan, 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 he came and told Kamsa that the eighth child of Devaki is going to be no ordinary child. This is all scheming in the heavens. Kamsa was so frightened, he couldn't eat his food. Suddenly, if you just eat the food, eighth child of Devaki. He used to wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, screaming, and his wife would wake him up. What happened? What happened? Eighth child of Devaki, eighth child of Devaki. She said, but the eighth child of Devaki is not yet born. I just saw a dream. No? She said, now go to sleep, go to sleep. He was all the time frightened. But as the days passed, as Devaki Mata became bigger and even more beautiful, Kamsa started placing one gate after another gate, after another gate, after another gate of the prison. And he put their guards day and night to keep a watch and to inform him when that 8th child of Devaki is born, because he did not want to miss even a second, because who knows, that little child might suddenly become big and come and catch Kamsa by his collar. Yeah, Kamsa had a collar. No, he also wore a shirt. Catch Kamsa by his collar and shake him up. And if Kamsa knew that he's not going to change, he himself is not going to change. And what will this 8th child do to him? Again, it's just a child, but he was afraid. And the gates went on increasing. The gates had such big locks, and the keys to that locks was given to the person, that guard, who was at the last, and was told, the moment you hear the cry of the baby, let me know. But now the whole universe was preparing. All the devotees, the good people, were going on chanting, going on singing, calling out to that Vasudeva, the Lord of the universe, who is everywhere, all pervading, and who is going to be coming as the son of Vasudeva. Everybody, all the saints, sages, they were remaining awake. And it was the 8th day of the waning moon. Bhagwan, who comes to bless everybody. When Bhagwan came as Ram, he came under the dynasty of the sun. So the moon said, what about me? Why am I left out? So he said, I came in the day in the dynasty of the sun as Ram, but I will come in the dynasty of the moon. If I came as Ram at noon, midday, I will come to bless the night, so that no one is afraid of the night also. For those who remember Bhagwan at night, they have nothing to fear from any evil, any danger. Otherwise, night is the time where all these creatures come out. I will come at night, at midnight. And it was the evening. All the heavenly devatas had come, and they praised and they prayed. Let us also pray. Are you all not the good children? Let us pray. Let us pray. Fold your hands, close your eyes, and let us pray. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 The whole of nature had become so beautiful. Flowers started blooming even in the evenings. The wind became a gentle breeze in the evening. Everything was so beautiful. All the good people, the devotees were praying. The lamps were being lit because Bhagwan is about to come. But the hearts of the wicked, the hearts of the evil, they were feeling some sense of fear. They were afraid. And it became night. The stars had started twinkling. But the whole universe did not want Kamsa to know that the 8th child is coming. Yogmaya was called by Bhagwan, and Bhagwan told that Yogmaya, now put all these people to sleep. Only the great saints and sages will be praying and will be awake. Cover this whole place up with clouds. And clouds came there. Even the twinkling lights of the stars were not seen. It was completely dark. And while it was completely dark, and there was no electricity either, one by one, all the guards went to sleep. Kamsa also had gone to sleep. Yogmaya had put everyone to sleep. And even the guards who were awake all the time and knew that the 8th child of Devaki is to be born, and Kamsa had said that you have to tell me immediately, stay awake, otherwise, Kamsa was very bad, so he would tell, otherwise, even they were waiting. And some were even snoring away loudly. Some, even mosquitoes came there and went and bit them, and they would go and still go back to sleep. And while all of them were sleeping, that moment at midnight, suddenly, not from the womb of Devaki, but suddenly, in that dark dungeon, in that dark jail, Vasudev sees a flash of beautiful blue light. And there he sees this most wonderful sight. Bhagwan had manifested as a little child, but with all his 4 arms, his crown, his ornaments, with all his 4 arms, with his conch, his discus, his club, and the lotus flower. Looking so radiant, so beautiful, and his eyes, normally when babies are born, their eyes are so small, they're closed like that. They're closed because they don't want to see this world. They don't want to see this world. They want to see that God inside them. But his eyes were open and he was smiling. How can a baby? And this baby, and this is the only baby who did not cry, that baby was smiling. Vasudev saw that beautiful, wonderful, amazing baby. And Devaki also saw. He praised that I know that you are Narayan himself that has come here. And Bhagwan spoke that it was many, many lifetimes that you had done lots of prayers, austerities, tapas. And when I appeared in front of you, asking you, what would you want, giving you a boon, And you said that you wanted a child like me. Now where can I go to find someone like me? Because there's no one like Bhagwan. So I couldn't find a child like me. So I decided to come and be your child. And since I couldn't get a like me, I promised to become your child for 3 times. And you wanted to know that I am coming as your child so that you would never forget and think me that I am a little naughty boy and sometimes scold me. You wanted to know. So I want you to know that I am fulfilling my promise to come as your child. And don't worry, I will remove all the problems of not only yours, but of all the good people who are suffering. Now, Devaki Mata saw that beautiful child and she said, I am amazed that in whom the entire universe is there, the world will say that came from my womb. You who are the mother and father of the universe, you have blessed me to become your mother. Oh, she was so thrilled. And now she said, but if you appear with all your weapons, etc., and Kamsa finds out, now become quickly my little baby. And Bhagwan smiled. But before he became a little baby, looking as beautiful as any baby, Bhagwan told Vasudev that now I have told Yogmaya to create this darkness and everyone is asleep. And I told her to go to Gokul. There you know your friend Nanda and Yashoda, who have not had children so many years, they have been without a child, to be born as their baby, so that you can go and leave me there and you will bring her back here. And she is no other than that mighty Devi. And she is here to create that terror in the heart of Kamsa. So you go, leave me there and bring her from there so that she can show Kamsa her power. And she, my Shakti, will create that fear in him so that he can stop all this nasty work he does. Now, quickly take me to Gokul, into the laps of Yashoda maiyaa and Nanda Baba. Vasudev thought, how can I? But he didn't realize that the moment Bhagwan appeared, all the chains by which he was tied had clunk, 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 fallen down. Quickly he took a basket from there. Devaki Maiyaa put her upper cloth into that basket and softened that hay basket, that straw basket, and kept that little baby into that basket with tears in her eyes, but for his safety she was sending him away. Vasudev took that little baby in his arms in the basket. But how could he go out? There were these big locks. There were these big gates. There were guards there. How would he cross all these gates one by one? But just as he carried the basket with that baby, and you know who that baby was? Bhagwan himself. But he carried that baby on his head, and as he came to the gate, crack! One lock opened and fell down. And almost by remote control, Dun, 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 dun. The gates opened up, and the guards still remained asleep. And Vasudev went. Another lock opened up. Another gate opened up. Another lock, clang, fell down. Another gate, zwing, opened up. Another lock fell down. Another gate banged open. Yet the guards were like sleeping. And Vasudev carried that little baby outside. And when he came outside, the whole sky was full of stormy clouds. And there was a storm going on. It was raining and pouring. But Vasudev could not stop, because the moment the storm stops and Kamsa comes to know that the 8th child is born, what will happen? So he carried that basket and he walked into the rain. And do you know, Sheshnag, with his hundreds of hoods, came and covered that little baby like an umbrella. And Vasudev, carrying, reached the river Yamuna. Yamuna was in flood because it was raining and storming. But Vasudev did not stop. He had to take Krishna to the other side. He had to carry that little baby. He was not afraid of the water. He was not afraid of drowning. We do not know what will happen now. But he was ready to carry, but he had to keep the basket up, that little baby does not get wet, that baby does not drown, even if he had to hold his breath. But as he started walking into the river started flowing, and there was gushing river, and that river came up to his knees, then came up to his waist, then came up to his belly, then came up to his chest, then came up to his neck. But Vasudev did not stop. He was ready to move, but he was holding the basket high, that this little baby does not get wet. This baby does not drown. And as the river came higher and higher, the little baby thought, Bhagwan thought, that what is this Yamuna doing? Why is she not giving my Papa a way to go? And then Bhagwan, who understands the hearts of everyone, river Yamuna was growing and growing higher and higher, because she wanted to touch the feet of Bhagwan. And that too also the little rosy lotus feet of Bhagwan. She wanted just to touch it and get the blessing. And Bhagwan thought, Are Yamuna Devi, you want to touch my feet, but you will drown my father. But Yamuna started growing higher and higher. She had to touch feet of Bhagwan. And the water came almost to the nose of Vasudev. He would have had to hold his breath. The river was still broad. He had to cross. What will happen now? But Bhagwan knew the heart of Yamuna. And you know what Bhagwan did? He said, Yamuna, you want to touch my feet, and in this you will drown my father. So that little baby put his little feet and his toe into the water. And the moment Yamuna river got the touch of the feet of Bhagwan, she suddenly parted her and gave way to Vasudev to walk across the riverbed, Vasudev reached Gokul, and truly enough, as Bhagwan had said, there was this baby, but everybody knew a baby was born, but nobody knew who the baby was, what the baby was, because everybody had gone to sleep. And Vasudev left that baby there and took this little baby and quickly came back to Mathura. As he walked into the gates, one by one the gates closed. The locks, as though by magic, went up and they closed themselves, but this time softly. One by one the gates closed, one by one the locks got locked. And as Vasudev came and handed over the baby to Devaki, Devaki Mata, seeing that little baby girl, held her close to her heart. But Vasudev said, "Don't worry. This is also not an ordinary baby. Don't worry. You just hold on. Kamsa will not be able to do anything to these children now." But she was afraid. But as she held the baby in her arms, that baby started crying loudly, "Wah! Wah!" as though giving an announcement. See, can you hear? Wah! 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 Oh, the guards were throwing away. They woke up and they heard a baby cry. Oh, they woke up. Oh, a child is born. A child is born. A child is born. A child is born. The other is hitting the other one. Wake up. A child is born. He said, "Why were you sleeping? Wake up. A child is born." They started banging at the other gates. The other guards were sleeping. Then each one woke each one. He gave trapped one. The other one gave trapped to another one. And they all woke themselves up. A child is born. A child is born. Somebody said, "But why are you standing here? Go tell Kamsa." And Kamsa was sleeping. He was also snoring away. And even before the door opened of his palace, he heard the sound. A child is born. He just got up from his bed. He could not even put his crown on. His dhoti, like his pants were falling off. No? And he ran. A child is born. A child is born. A child is born. And he ran to he told everybody, a child is born. A child is born. A child is born. He was so afraid. And he came into the jail. Then, what happens? We shall tell you next time. Meanwhile, that little baby has reached Gokul, and Devi Ma is in the hands of Devaki. Now Kamsa is about to come into that place. Let us sing. Om Namo Narayanaya, 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 Om Namo Narayanaya. Let us chant the prayer. Let everybody be happy. Let no one be ill or sick. May we see goodness everywhere. May no one have to suffer. Om सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। कृष्णा कृष्ण।